Welcome to the Ordinary Black Professionals. I'm Nicole,
And I'm Stefan.
and this week we're talking about how we approached our 2021 goals.
Yes, we're going to be talking all about goal planning, goal setting in this episode. And with the new year ahead of us, just be thinking about, you know, new year, new goals, new me,
New
you know,
year, new me.
all that stuff. So, yeah, but just before we go into that, hope everybody had a very nice Christmas
Yeah,
and spent it safe.
yeah, definitely. And was able to enjoy it as much as possible with the constraints of this year,
Yeah,
and hopefully ate some good food.
I was going to say spend it with your family, but I know a lot of people weren't able to do that this year.
Yeah,
So, you know, whatever you had to do to stay safe, well done for doing that. And hopefully we have a much better 2021.
yeah, onwards and upwards. So goal setting, why is it important? Why do we do it? Or actually, better question, when did we start doing it, and why did we start
Mm.
doing it?
We started doing it last year,
Yeah,
wasn't it? And why did we start doing it? I think it just gives us it gives us a focus for the year ahead
yeah, definitely.
and helps us to just remind us on the things that we care about. Because I think last year we went through a process of thinking about what is important to us for the
Yeah.
upcoming year, and we wanted to get more out of the year, what we want to do moving forward.
Because the
I'm
thing,
starting to approach 30, that point in your life where you're thinking, oh man, what have I done so far?
yeah, I'm
And
not
so,
I'm not at that stage yet, so I don't have that to worry about. I'm
yeah,
still young and youthful and fresh, but but I think what's really important with goal setting is exactly what you said, Steph. It's like it allows you to see where you want to be, but it gives you that direction and it works like a constant reminder. Because sometimes when you don't have goals, you're kind of just floating about, hopping from point B to point C to back to point A.
mm,
But when you have a goal, just I don't know, it just allows you to be a bit more focused and targeted
yeah,
on what you want to do in that year. Um, and it just helps us to think about what our short term and long term goals are as well, and things like that.
yeah. So a lot of people have long-term goals, which is great. But in order to reach your long-term goals, I feel like the best way to do that is set short-term goals that get you along the way,
Yeah, I agree.
because a long-term goal is so difficult to contemplate how to achieve it.
Yeah,
It just seems so far away, and then next thing you know, the time that you expected to achieve your long-term goal by has come up.
yeah, I agree. And it's also creating things that are realistic and attainable as well. Like if I say that I want to retire at 30, well, I've only got 2 years to go, so that's not realistic and that's not going to happen.
Mm,
So yeah, thinking about what can be like realistically achieved as well. So we thought we'd just spend some time kind of walking you all through how we've planned for or set our goals for 2021. Because I think a lot of the time people are like, New Year, new me, or like this year's gonna be better than the last, and I'm setting mad goals, and, da, da," and people don't actually explain what it is that they do, or they don't share their goals with you or how they plan to reach those goals. So it just feels like it's all talk, but
yeah.
like nothing that's helpful or useful for other people to pick up. So
Mm,
we thought we would walk you through kind of our process on how we set our goals, what some of our goals are, and then talk a little bit about how we plan to achieve them as well.
yeah. Okay, so let's just talk about our process and what we do, because this year was the first year where we've done our goal planning for 2021, and we're now looking back to look at our previous year and what the goals we set, and just thinking about like what we had achieved and things like
Yeah.
that. So the first thing, before we talk about the achievements and what we're proud of, we just reflect back on last year, think about what we're proud of, what happened, what went well, what didn't go well.
Yeah.
Maybe we made a mistake when we planned it and just didn't really write something that was really realistic, and that was actually the case for
Yeah,
some
that
of
was the
our
case. Like we look back on what we'd written. So yeah, we look back on what we had written and we
yeah
was like,
realistic.
that wasn't realistic. That was never gonna happen in the year.
Even without a pandemic is just not
Yeah,
realistic.
yeah, even without a global pandemic. Um, so yeah, it's really important that if you can, and I think it's even despite whether you set goals or not, but if you are setting goals for 2021, just sit back and reflect on 2020. What is it that you're proud of achieving or doing? What are your achievements? Make a note of them and really reflect and think, what has been really good this year, what hasn't. So then you're able to see, okay, so the things that haven't been so good, what do I need to change to make sure that they're better in 2021? Or what is it that was really good this year that I want to continue doing in 2021?
And that also helps you for your long-term goals, because if you have those short-term goals, and when I say short-term, I'm considering short-term as a year is a short-term goal,
Oh,
like
okay.
within a year.
It's good you clarified that because I thought
That's,
you meant a couple of months, a few months.
I mean, you can maybe achieve some of the goals within a few months,
Yeah,
but I think when you set a target for the year, it's a short-term target. Like if you set a target, a lot of people do, I'm going to lose weight in the next year. That's actually a short-term target because losing weight is just you going ham for even 3 months. You can probably make your target.
yeah,
But the real long-term goal is maintaining that, um, living a new lifestyle, a new way to make sure that you live, healthy.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
So if you have long-term goals and you saw one of your short-term goals, you didn't achieve it, and it was working towards a long-term goal, then it's now your opportunity when we reflect back to say, right, I need to make a change. Maybe I need to make that goal that I set for a year, I need to break it up, make it a bit smaller. And so just focus on little bits and pieces for the next year
Right, okay, that
rather
makes
than
sense.
just this whole big picture.
Yeah, yeah. So reflect on what how your previous year's been. And it's interesting because I organize like our goal planning session. And when we were there reflecting, I thought that was going to take like 5, 10 minutes. I thought it was going to be quite quick. And we probably spent over half an hour just talking about what we were proud of, what we had achieved. And what we actually did is we've got some post-its and sharpies in the house, and we wrote down on the post-its and the sharpies like our achievements, what we're proud of, and then we just stuck them up
Mm.
on our,
I don't know what to call
I
that,
don't
but
know
you
what
can
to
stick it
call it
on a
either,
door,
but we stuck it
on
up around the house
yeah,
basically,
on a wall.
and
Yeah.
we talked through each post-it one by one. So any of the consultants out there listening, yes, it sounds very consultancy, and it sounds like we're in a workshop. But this works for us because it means that I can see Stefan's achievements and Stefan can see mine, and just we can just walk through them bit by bit. I'll post it by post it. And the thing is, by doing this, there's some of our achievements. They're nothing overly, you know, nothing miraculous or grand. Some of them are, and one of the ones I wrote down was just being able to work through a global pandemic,
Mm.
and which I think has been an achievement for everybody
Yeah.
out there, just being able to thrive and live
When we
through
wrote
it.
our achievements, they weren't all geared towards the goals that we
No, no.
that we wrote. They're just things that we were proud of in the year. Some of those things were achieving the goals that we wanted to achieve, and some of them were actually based on the year that we just had, like making it through the pandemic, being happy that, we've come through the other side. Well,
Yeah,
not quite the other side, but
almost for the other side.
we are still healthy and doing well,
Yeah,
which a lot of people aren't,
yeah,
in the country.
exactly. And then some of the other goals was I just me being able to keep up my exercise throughout this year. So with the gyms being closed and me not going to a physical gym as often, being able to train at home, getting weight training at home still and things like that. Saving a lot of money this year, obviously because we're not commuting into work, so huge amounts of money is being saved. Not doing the commute, not buying lunch every day,
Yeah,
not paying for the gym because again the gym membership's been put on hold. We've also got kind of improving our front garden, our driveway area, and then Stefan started a new company this year, so having a good first year at that company.
yeah, yeah. So I started that new company, and I put this as a goal in the last year.
Yes, you did.
And we did this just before New Year, and I started a new company second week of January,
Mm.
as I was a bit nervous starting a new company. I didn't know what it was going to be like, and I was just hoping that it was going to turn out well,
Yeah.
and I wasn't going to have to move again.
Yeah.
And
Little
yeah,
did you know you was going to be joining a company, and then in your what, third month,
yeah.
like national lockdown was going to happen. So you
Mm.
didn't even really get
A lot of
to
the things they
feel.
said was going to happen never happened
Yeah,
because of
exactly.
pandemic.
Exactly.
But at the same time, managed to have a good year, you know.
Yeah.
So that was one of my targets for last year, and that could just be anybody's target. If you wanted to get a new job in the new year, then your target could be to get a new job,
Mm.
and that it works out for you,
Yeah.
because not every job is for everyone, not every organization or company is for everyone, you know. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah. Agreed. So spend that time to reflect, think about last year's, what you've achieved, what you're proud of, all of that good stuff. And then we actually went through our old goals, so our 2020 goals, and went through each one of those to see how many we had achieved.
Yeah,
And then again, that sparked up another conversation as to why we had been able to achieve them, what we haven't been able to achieve, the reasons why, were they unrealistic, were they affected by the pandemic. I think of some of them that we had, I don't remember off the top of my head, but some of them that we had, I think because of the pandemic they just weren't possible anymore.
yeah.
So we just had to kind of like park that and move on to the next one. And then, so once we had done that exercise, now we get into the nitty-gritty of the planning. So what we did is we had, again, larger post-its where I wrote up Stefan's goals, Nicole's goals, and couple goals.
Right. And
So
you can see what these posters look like on our Instagram page. We'll have a picture up on there and you can see
yeah,
what it looks like. So you can do something similar.
yeah, exactly. So we've got those three. The couple goals are things that we need to work together to be able to achieve that goal. So it's like a joint thing. And then again, we had our Sharpies and our Post-its, and we just started writing stuff down. Writing down, what my goals were, and what our couple goals were. And then Stefan wrote down his goals and his couple goals. And once we had finished doing the writing, we then put them up against our names.
And you can also write goals for each other as well,
Yes,
which is
yeah.
something we did last year. You can write goals for each other. Sometimes they match up, because you
We
talk
didn't
to each
actually
other.
do that this year, though, did we?
No. But
But
yeah, sometimes they match up. Sometimes they're different, and you can discuss it. You don't have to take on every goal that you wrote down. If you did, maybe it would be way too long a list,
yeah,
and then you sort of prioritize.
yeah, exactly. I forgot about that actually. Yeah, last year we did write down, yeah, each other. We wrote down some goals for each other.
Mm.
And then once you finished, or once we had finished writing our goals, we then stuck them up, as I said, against our names, Nicole, Stefan, a couple goals. And then again, each one by one, we walk through each of the goals, explaining it to the other, kind of doing a bit of a sense check, talking about it in a bit more detail, making sure that we were aligned, especially with the couple goals, and that we were aware of each other's goals. And the reason to do this is so that you have someone else to keep you accountable. So I know what Stefan's goals are, so I can be like throughout the year, kind of help him stay on track with some of his goals and see how can I help him along the way and to do that, and then vice versa. And then with the couple goals, just making sure that we are happy and comfortable with them. Stefan's not saying anything mad and wild that I don't agree with. and that and that we can agree on them and know how we're gonna move forward on them as well. And we've kind of, when we've written down our goals, we've thought about them in lots of different like categories, I guess. We've got,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Categories. I think a lot of people will question, what am I going to write down as a goal?
yeah.
And that's where the difficulty is, because a lot of people think about New Year's resolution and they write down the same thing every year.
Mm,
And I think you need to think a bit broader. You need to think a bit more for your whole life.
yeah.
It's not just about your next 5 year target of achieving something at work, or being a billionaire or whatever it is. It's just think broader about your whole life
Yeah.
and what you want to improve, and make a little step towards,
Yeah.
even if it's not a big step.
And it could be something like, where do I want to be this time next year? in terms of my personal life, in terms of my career, in terms of my relationships with other people.
Exactly. So you have to think about friendships, family, um, just your overall quality of
Yeah,
life, is is just one area. You can think about your living space, where you currently live, how you live. Are you happy with what you have currently and the way that is set up? Maybe it could be more comfortable, maybe it can be more suitable for
mm,
working at home if you do that now. Um,
your career.
your career, career is a big one, obviously, but where do you want to be in your career? What step do you want to take this year? A year is a short-term target for me. That's how I describe it. So if you're thinking about your career, what can you do in just the space of 1 year to make another step forward?
Yeah. And that's why I was saying earlier, it's so, so, so important that you sit back and you reflect on your previous year. What brought you joy? What made you happy? What made you sad? What were you disappointed with? What relationships did you have, whether it's a romantic one or just a friendship relationship one that you felt was super damaging? What Summarize and think and reflect on your year and think about, okay, what do I want to be different next year? What do I want to continue next year? And all of that stuff will help you to come up with your goals and with your plans and what what is really important to you that you want to achieve. And I'd encourage, like, don't have 15 goals because you're just
Yeah,
not going to keep track of them. You're not going to remember them. They're just going to become long.com and not that helpful. Try to think about the key, like, 5 things that you want to bang out next year and do to the best of your ability, or that you want to continue next year, or that you want to switch up and change. And then that will allow you to kind of hone in and focus on those 5 or 6, whatever it is, those key things.
yeah, that's right. And when I think about these goals as well, it just reminds me of, sometimes you have influencers or YouTubers or famous people that will have a platform and give people advice on how to navigate your life, how
Mm,
to achieve boss levels, how
mm.
to become more like me or be a millionaire or you know gain more income, whatever. This is probably one of the techniques and tools for you to use to hone in on
Become your boss.
to maybe, yeah, become our boss. Yeah, to move into that space and just to focus yourself on where you want to go just for 1 year, and then the next year again just for 1 year, you know, and that will just ease you towards what you want to do.
Mm. Because we try, when we do our planning, as I said, we just kind of write it on post-its, kind of whatever comes to our heads, have them on the wall, and then through the conversation that we have with each other, we'll refine it, edit the goals, update them, add new ones, remove ones. But that works for us, and because it's the two of us, we're able to bounce ideas off each other and have a conversation. If it's just you by yourself, you could try doing that and again bouncing that off of a friend or a loved one. Or you could try kind of breaking it down into those categories or those kind of areas that Stefan mentioned earlier: friendships, family, life, quality of life, career, happiness, stress, all that stuff, and then breaking down your goals that way so it's a little bit more structured. But it's just finding out the tools that work for you, really.
Hmm.
But what I would say is really think about writing them down. And I know people like to put things in their phone, but maybe I'd encourage you just to write down on a piece of paper, just so it switches things up. It just feels a little bit more. I don't know. I like writing things out on
Yeah,
a
I
piece of
mean,
paper, but
after
just so
you
you can
do,
see it and move it around and play with it, than just having it on your phone where it's just kind of.
oh yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when you just put stuff in your phone, it dies there because it's like sits with all the other shit that you have in your phone as well. But when you
yeah,
have,
when you're going
like,
through the process,
when
you
you're
mean,
going
yeah,
through when you're
yeah.
going through the process,
That's
not
why
where it lives, but when you're going through the process.
that's why post-its are good. You just write it on it. If you don't want it anymore, you just pull it off and stick it on a different category or get rid of it. It's very easy to use post-its.
Very
Very useful.
easy. I'd highly recommend investing in some post-its and a couple of Sharpies for when you're doing your planning or your, yeah, planning for anything, and then also your goal setting as well. So when you see, if you go into our Instagram, you'll see how ours looks, and you'll see how it's kind of, we've got post-its all over the place, and how we've kind of moved things around so it fits into our particular columns.
Yeah.
So
So after you've done all that, you've planned, you've decided what goes in which category. I think you need to write it down somewhere,
yeah,
right? Do not take a picture. Well, do take a picture just to save what you've done, but do not take a picture of your post-its and your goals and think that's enough. That's not enough.
why? Why is taking a picture bad?
It's not something that you can review. The picture is not clear enough of all the post-its that you've got. It's a bit of a mess, most likely, with your post-its in different places. It's not in a prioritized list. It's not in a place where you can easily check off, I've achieved this, I've
Yeah,
achieved that, you know? So you need, and it's not easy to review either because you have to go into your picture,
and
you
scroll.
know, in the month of November, you got to scroll down in your camera roll, find the picture that you took,
Yeah,
zoom in to see what your goal was, and think to yourself, did I achieve that again?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I did achieve that in March. That's not good enough.
no,
Yeah.
I agree. It's poor because, and you take so many pictures nowadays. Yeah, you got to scroll, 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 scroll to go and find it. And you could be, remember, this is goals for the year. You got to be thinking about these are goals that you want to have next year, November. Are you really going to be scrolling back a year to go and find a picture of your goals?
Mm,
I know I wouldn't be.
yeah, exactly. So you can do anything you want, right? But you just need to write it down somewhere where it's easily accessible for you to review,
Yeah,
easy for you to tick off, to check off, I've achieved this, I've achieved that. And I think something for you to like just have on you, like on the move. That's how I like it. But maybe it's something like a what do you call it? Idea board or something like that in your room.
oh yeah,
You
like
could
a
have
vision
a
board.
like a vision board or something like. You can have like a list on there, and with just some boxes next to it to tick off. I've achieved that. I've achieved that.
Mm,
You know. Personally, what I do is I write it in my phone on a notes app,
yeah,
yeah, and put some check boxes next to each goal. And I've got a different note for my goals and a couple goals. And when I've achieved it, I click on the tick box,
yeah,
and it's very easy for me to review. I open the app, I look at my goals, and I'll be like, right, I need, you know, when July comes around, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I need to work towards that goal. You know, it's right there on my phone. I've got it with me at all times. I can always be thinking about it if I'm commuting, and it's something I can do on the train for it. I can just do it there on my phone if it's something like that. You know.
agree. And also, I think if you have it kind of on your phone or somewhere easily accessible where you can review it regularly, you can look back and see and say, like, okay, this doesn't work for whatever reason. Like, let's say your one of your goals for 2021 was to go traveling, but actually, it's still getting to May time and a lot of the borders are closed from different countries. You can
Mm,
go in, review your goal, update it, and change it. So it's something, I think that's quite important to remember, like the goals that you set, just because we've set them kind of December 2020, they're not static. They're not dead goals. They're living and breathing. Like they can change and they're flexible. So if we work out that, by May next year the traveling goal isn't going to happen, you can review it, update it, and change it.
hmm
And again, that's easy to do if you have it saved on your phone so we can easily edit, or you've got it somewhere that's easily accessible, as opposed to a picture where you can't update that goal or change it or remove it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually last year I added goals like
Mm,
in the middle of the year sometime. I just added it to my list. I couldn't do that with a picture.
yeah, exactly. And I think another thing as well with goals is to make sure you think about when you're going to review them. It doesn't have to be every month, but it could be every quarter, every 4 months. You review your goals and you see how on track you are for achieving them, and talk them through with your partner or with a loved one about how, what your goals are and how you're going to achieve them. Because I think a lot of the time with New Year's resolutions, what happens is I go, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym more often. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna have a healthy lifestyle. And it kind of happens for January. Kind of like bang out gym every day in January. It kind of happens in February, but then by the time you get to April, it's dead and it's died. So it's like, who keeps you accountable to making sure that you're gonna keep sticking to that goal or keep sticking to that thing that you want to achieve? I think that's what's really important with your goals, is that you use the people around you to help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be hard sticking to that goal. And then for you yourself to have to have some responsibility and want to kind of achieve them yourself as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And just one thing about the tick boxes as well is that when I do tick them off and I've achieved a goal for the year, that checkbox gives me some sort of satisfaction.
I was just about to say that. Look how we're
Oh
on the same page.
yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking that when you cross off stuff and you tick it off,
Yeah.
it makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah. It gives you that good feeling. Um, and that helps you, that motivates you to do more, to
Yeah,
do the next one and the next one.
definitely. Definitely. So, what are our goals then? Let's tell the people.
Yeah. Let's go into some of our couple goals first.
Okay.
I think one of our first goals is that we want to make sure that we keep consistent with this podcast for the next year.
Yeah.
All right. We've been consistent so far every Tuesday, and we want it to stay that way. And it's a new podcast, so we just want to make sure it just continues at good level and we just keep it going.
Yeah, agree.
And our listenership grows, and there are lots of people that listen and enjoy. So yeah, that's goal number one. It's just based on us keeping up with the work schedule,
Mm.
right? Um, and hopefully, we're going to have some good plans for next year, and we'll have some good episodes to put out
Yeah.
and talk to you guys about with
New
new
guests.
more guests and things like that.
Yeah, lots of ideas for the new year.
Yeah. I think the second goal maybe is a bit ambitious. Who knows?
I don't think
No?
so.
But we just want to go on holiday somewhere.
We need a holiday.
Yeah. Because,
Need to
there's
get
a lot
out of
of,
the UK.
maybe there was a few people that made it to Dubai this year, but we weren't one of them.
We weren't one of them. That being said, I work with some people who are based in Dubai and they said, come over. They said life is good over there.
Yeah. So, um, it says go on a holiday somewhere, anywhere,
Not fast.
we just need to go
Warm
somewhere.
weather.
Yeah.
Don't care where.
It's got to be warm weather.
It's got to be warm. That's like
Yeah.
a
Minimum requirement.
minimum requirement, yeah. Minimum requirement.
Yeah.
Hot weather, preferably somewhere where when we come back to the UK, we don't have to self-isolate, but
I think that's
not
unlikely now.
picky. Not picky. All
Yeah.
I want right now is for the borders to open up so they will allow UK citizens to fly in.
Yeah. And okay, so then some of our other goals are we want to do some decorating and furnishing of our home,
Yes.
particularly the living room.
Yeah,
I think we talked about this in a previous
we
episode as
have,
well,
we
but
have. It's
yeah.
interesting this one because we've been in, this sounds like we've just moved into our place. We've lived here for years.
Hmm.
We just haven't,
And we've got lots of furniture,
and we've
but
got furniture, like
it just
we've
needs
got
those
sofas and a TV and stuff.
it needs those small items,
It just needs like a few more like finishing touches, like some
Yeah,
plants, some photos, or some more photos, some artwork,
yeah, that sort of thing.
rugs, which has been on my to-do list or our to-do list for a very long time. We just haven't to done it.
To done.
Just haven't to done it.
Yeah. Next on the list is to do some decoration of the downstairs toilet. We have a very small downstairs toilet, and we've not decorated it since moving in,
No.
and so we just want to do some painting in there. It's really small. It's only got a toilet in it, so just needs a bit of paint on the walls and a bit of rugs in there, and change the toilet seat and that sort of thing. So that's a goal for the next year, because again, that's one of the things that we said we'll do. We've decorated almost every other room There's maybe
No,
yeah,
most
most
rooms.
rooms in the house we have decorated except that one.
Yeah.
So that's one of the rooms on our list. Um, and the next target is to sort out some maintenance cover for our boiler.
Yeah, boring
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that's just
It's just boring
some
adult
admin
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
we got to
boring,
make sure that
but
it's
necessary.
necessary.
But necessary. Oh boy,
Yeah,
you really realize how important the boiler is
until it
when it does
breaks.
not work and you're
Mhm.
sitting there with your hot water bottle and your dressing gown because you can't have hot water in
And a man
or
comes and tells
heating
you that
in
it's now going to
January.
cost you £2,000
Yeah.
for a new boiler.
Or the
Oh
worst case
God.
is that your heating or your boiler breaks down on Christmas Day and the man tells you he can't reach you for another seven
Mm,
days.
yeah,
You're like, what am I gonna do? Sit here in the cold for 7 days. So yeah, boring adult stuff, but necessary.
yeah, yeah. Okay. We'll talk about some of my goals now. So that's some of the couple goals. Some of my goals. For the next year, I've got um a career goal to gain a professional qualification. Um,
Fancy.
yeah, want to up my CV game a little bit. I'm just looking to just gain at least one qualification, but if I do more than one, that's great. But yeah, if I can gain a professional qualification and I work in DevOps, cloud stuff, so um, another
Google Cloud.
qualification in that, yeah, another qualification in that area would be great. Um, Hopefully Google Cloud, AWS or something along those lines. But yeah, that's what I'll be looking to do. Um, Another goal of mine is to really think about what the hell I'm going to do for my 30th birthday, which is next year.
Next year's summer, so he's got time.
Next year summer, I know, but
You don't have
I
any
hoped.
ideas at the moment.
I mean, I don't have any ideas, but if there was no pandemic, I probably would have
Thought about it
thought
some
about a
more.
bigger idea. But now, all the big
Yeah,
ideas for your 30th, I'm like,
what's a big idea though? Like if you
go
could do
abroad.
anything. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my goal. I don't want to be here when I turn 30. I don't. I plan to have a birthday month. I'm gonna go in when I turn 30. It's a big milestone. Those people, many people around the world don't get to reach the age of 30.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And another goal of mine is just to exercise more. In the pandemic, it's been more difficult to do that. Was doing it a bit regularly before, like weekly, but I think it really helps with the mental health side of things now with the situation that we have. So hopefully that exercise helps with mental health because I think for the next year, one of the themes really of next year for a lot of people, including us, is mental health
hmm,
because this lockdown life is not easy on you really, and the lack of in-person
contact.
contact is
And do you know what
difficult.
makes it even harder as well? Because you're at home more, you have more time to think. So things that may have happened in the past or level that you deal with that you kind of brush under the covers because you're working and you're commuting and it's kind of a bit more go. The thing that this pandemic has done is it's slowed everybody down. And because everything's so much more slowed down and you've got so much more time, you have more time to think. So therefore you've got more time for your mental health not to be as great as it maybe usually is.
Yeah.
Because when I think about this is going off tangent, but when I think about me go commuting into the office and how I was always so go to now, I can't even believe it. It feels mad. Like I used to like do a quick walk to the station. Quick.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like, so then I'm there. Then I sit down. Then I could be working on the train, or I would like listen to a podcast, or I'd read a book. Then I'd get off the train, quick walk to get to work. Walk,
mm,
quick. Then I would like do whatever I had to do at work. Quick walk to get something for lunch.
yeah,
Quick walk to go back.
yeah,
Whoa, work. Then when I finish work, I'm like dashing over to get to the gym because I've obviously left work too late because a meeting's overran or someone had to talk to me or I've just lost track of time. So I then am either walking to the train station to get over to my get over to my gym, or I'm running over to the bus stop to jump on the bus. Anyways, I'm running and I'm walking and it's fast, so I'm sweaty. So then, so then I get over to the gym and I do a mad quick walk from the station to the gym, do the exercise. Then I'm basically running back from the gym to the station because I've got a short amount of time to get my train. And then I do a mad walk when I eventually get back to the train station by my house, from my house, sorry, to the train station from my house back to my home. So I feel like I'm always just like a walking fast,
Yeah.
sweaty, like always like busy doing something. And it's only when I get back home after exercising at like 8:30 do I sit down and truly relax in front of the TV. But now, I'm not walking nowhere, I'm not sweating. I mean, the only time I sweat is when I'm exercising.
Mm. I was slightly different. I called it the calm before the storm, like from when I woke up to sitting on the train. That was the calm before the storm, and I was calm, listening to my music, whatever. When I hit the office, it was top speed from then on. Just working fast, fast lunches, 5 minute lunches.
Oh, I
Um,
hate those 5-minute lunches.
yeah,
How much food can I get into my mouth in a short period of time? Ah.
finish work, go to the gym, and then when I hit the train again, that's the calm after the storm.
But do you not feel what was we watching the other day? And they were saying like when you go onto the train, when you're on the train, it like it takes the life out of you. It was that Disney
Oh,
movie
Soul.
Soul.
Yeah,
I can't remember what
the
the
new
guy
Disney
said,
film.
the new Disney film that we watched. Can't remember what the guy said, but he was basically like when you get onto the New York subway, which is basically the tube in London, and that it just like
It's not.
no, it wears you down. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's what he said, and I
yeah,
was like, can relate to that. There's something about being on the tube and commuting, just wears you down.
yeah,
You can see it on people's faces.
yeah.
They're dead behind the eyes.
Especially when you have to stand up.
Oh, the
If I
worst.
was,
The
I
worst.
used to take train every day and get a seat. And when I sat down, it was much better.
Much better.
If I'm
Luxury.
standing up, then it's wears you down, and then the train gets delayed, and you're sitting on the platform, you can't go anywhere, and
Yeah.
oh my days.
Sometimes I'd get on the train and like a guy would be like, oh, like let's say it's like me and another guy walk into a seat and he'd be like, oh, do you want to sit down?
Mm.
I'm like, no, no, it's okay. You sit. I'm like, oh, I'll just stand. It's fine. And then lo and behold, that's the one time when your train's delayed or it
Yeah,
gets stuck underneath a tunnel and you're like, damn, I wish I was sitting down in that
yeah,
seat. Wish I didn't give it to him in the end.
yeah,
But yeah, you've got some good goals there.
yeah. Let's
Going
move on
back to
to
the
your
goals.
goals.
Professional qualification, 30th birthday plan and plans and more exercise. And just to note, that's not all your goals either. You just picked
A few of the
a
goals.
few of the goals out of some of them that you have. So again, these are just some of my goals. To save more money in the new year, to read a book a month. I actually had this as a 2020 goal. It did not happen. What ended up happening is I got like 4 books for Christmas. I banged them all out, one after the other. I had like a really heavy book called A Little Life. If you haven't read it, do. I hesitated there because I've got some difficult subject matters in the book, but if you do the research, it's a good book. But it's like 800 pages long. But
Oh,
I banged that out in 2 weeks. But because the book was so heavy, I then took a break from reading for about 6 weeks. Then read another great book called Queenie. Again, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. And then I just stopped reading because usually I read when I commute to work. So without having a commute, I wasn't reading as much. Anyways, long story short, my goal for this year is to read a book a month. I have many, many books here that I've got on my bookshelf that I'm ready to read. So I just need to read it. My next book on my list, which I've started reading but I haven't gotten very far, is Girl, Woman, Other.
yeah.
I think I'm about 14 pages in. It's a Booker Prize winner. It's meant to be great. So my aim is to finish that book
But it
by
sounds like you've read
January.
quite a few books this year.
I've only read 2.
You said you read four. You got four
I
books.
got 4 books for
Oh,
Christmas,
you only read two.
but I read like 2 of those last year. Between Christmas and the New Year's, I think I read 2.
Okay, so they don't count in the quota.
No,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
And then, sorry, I probably like read about 3 books because yeah, the other books I read quite quickly. So yes. And then the other goal I have is just to figure out how to grow more in my career.
Yeah, and you can set a goal just like this because this goal is not like specific, like
It's quite
I'm to
open-ended.
do this, I'm going to grow in my career, I'm going to do this. This is just a goal to say, figure out what am I going to do because sometimes you don't even know.
Yeah, I'm
Sometimes
in
you're
that
just
bucket.
like, what do I do now?
What am I doing?
And sometimes that could even mean a change in your career
Yeah,
direction or the whole job that you do, like you leave that whole industry or profession. You never know.
yeah,
But yeah, sometimes you just have to figure that out, and that's all right too.
yeah. Totally agree. I'm definitely in that bucket right now where I'm just trying to work out what is it that I even do. I got promoted this year. I'm trying to work out, well, what next for me.
Mm,
So figuring that out, how do I grow? And I feel like right now in my career, I'm in the space where I'm happy to be quite ambitious. Like I want to achieve more.
yeah,
I'm not always in that space. Sometimes I'm in the space of happy just to kind of like,
yeah. No, I
you
agree.
know, not be mediocre, but just see where life brings me. And
I've
but this
definitely been
year
in
I'm
that
like,
space.
yeah, the
I think in the
last,
last year, I was in that exact space where I'm just coasting,
mm,
like probably through 2020. At least at the start for sure, I was coasting.
oh really?
Yeah, I was coasting. Just career-wise, I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do what I do. I'm not trying to be more ambitious and achieve more, or
Mm,
just blow it out the park. I'm just trying to do what I do. And right now, at the start of 2021, I feel a bit more like, let me do more. Let me go get this qualification. Let me
yeah,
just. So sometimes you just go through those moments, so you just take it when it's there and, you know, make the most of it, really.
yeah. That's yeah, exactly how where I'm at. Just trying to make the most of it while I feel like I've got the energy to do so.
Mm. Early on in my career, I think most young people when they start, right, they're
Chomping at
ready
the
to
bit.
go. They're chomping at the bit. They're just driving forward and just
Yeah. So eager.
yeah, so
So
eager.
eager.
And that was me.
It's
And then maybe about 2, 3 years in, I had burnt all my energy.
yeah, you're like, this is tiring.
Yeah, I had
I
burnt it all.
can't maintain this. This level of
I just had to slow
dedication.
down at that point.
Have to slow down. I totally understand that feeling, and I see it all the time when I have a team and I'm managing grads, and they're just mad eager,
Mm.
mad eager. What can I do? What can I do? Can't just be sitting here doing nothing. Ah, do you know what I mean? It's like ah. It kind of reminds me of if anyone watches like The Incredibles, and the little boy who's really fast. I don't know, I can't remember what his name is.
Dash?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like that. Like, in the first movie, his parents are trying like, don't show your powers, don't show your powers. And he's like, but all I want to do is run in the like
in the
run like,
race.
in the race, yeah. And he's like just like all over the place, like like going from here to there to like wherever. That's like what like sometimes the grads are
Yeah,
like energetic bunnies. Like can't keep them
yeah.
contained
And
because
you,
they've
and you
just
need
left
and
uni
you
and
want
they're
them to
so ambitious.
direct their energy, and but their energy is just spiraling
All
into
over the
every
place, all over the
direction,
place.
and it's like just direct it in one
One
direction.
area. And also like relax, right? You're going to be working for the next like 50 years, probably guaranteed.
Yeah,
Like you don't need to achieve everything in 2 years. But I know I totally get that feeling because that's how I was. But as I
yeah.
said, when you start
You're
to
excited.
work,
Yeah,
the dull, the shine quickly dulls.
yeah,
It's like a little dimmer light.
yeah,
And in your career, sometimes you'll be, bright as a star, and other times you'll be a little bit dimmer, and other times on those dark days, the light's completely off.
yeah.
And yeah, I think right now in my career, my light's probably quite bright, willing to, yeah, grow more and figure it all out.
Mm.
Um, so that's my goals. Are there any more that you want to
No,
add in or
I think that really
talk about?
covers it. I think anybody that has listened to this episode, you know, if you want to do something like this, instead of doing your normal New Year's resolution, just think about maybe you can do a bit more. Think about your goals in different aspects of your life and write it down
Write it down.
and reflect on it throughout the entire year. Like
Yeah.
I
If
probably looked at my goals like every week for
Oh
last year
wow.
or something like that. Just looked at it, didn't do anything, but just looked at it, and it just keeps reminding you, yeah, yeah, just keep on that path. Just keep on that path.
Yeah. Even if it means you have to set in some dates where you need to reflect your like where you reflect on your goals, that's good as well. I'd recommend doing that. So at least it's in the diary.
Yeah.
So just to kind of summarize what we've spoken about, when you're looking to set your goals for 2021, the first thing you need to do is reflect. Think back on how this year's been. What has you achieved? What are you proud of? What do you want to change for the new year? What's been positive or negative for this year? What all of that stuff. Really think, reflect on it, talk it through with somebody else, write it down, whatever works best for you. And then once you've done the reflection, then kind of write down, okay, what is it that you want to um, achieve for the next year? Whether that's your individual goals or your couple goals. And then once you have that, write them down, put them on a post-it, stick them up around the house, prioritize them, refine them, work out what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep, all of that good stuff. Then when you've got that list there, write it down somewhere where you can easily access it, review it, and update it.
Hmm.
So on your phone, on a diary somewhere, whatever makes sense for you, but somewhere where you can easily
On a mood board. Was it mood
on
board?
a vision board
Vision board.
where people kind of vision board where you have up in your bedroom, something where you can easily access, where you can easily see it, and you can easily make updates and changes if you need to. And then once you've done that, review on a regular basis. And yeah, you're set. You're set to become a boss,
Yeah. I mean,
a boss of your
you
life.
got to make steps towards it, throughout the year.
Definitely. Maybe one thing we should talk about actually is how we make steps towards how we plan to make steps towards our goals.
Towards our goals. Okay. So I think one of the things that I will do to make a step is for the professional qualification, I need to one identify what that qualification will be. Which one is it going to be?
Mm,
I don't know exactly which one yet. And the second thing I'm going to do is identify how I'm going to do the training for it.
yeah.
I need to prepare myself, train for it, and I've got an idea like I'm going to use like the company resources to do that. Um, and then once I'm ready, just identify how to take the exam and to take it. And if I fail it, take it again. And just go through that circle, just go through that circle of just doing that. And that's really my plan to achieve that goal. Um, 30th birthday plans are,
Talk
I
about it with your
think,
wife.
yeah. Google some ideas. Maybe maybe I'll start with the ideas that I would prefer if there was no pandemic and look
Yeah,
at
I agree. Work backwards from there.
look at how realistic it is to do that. If I'm going abroad, then like it might be like a lads abroad or something like that. Could be.
Lads, lads, lads.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to ask friends if, if that's a realistic thing, or maybe, after this pandemic year, people aren't in positions to do that. So that will just rule that one out.
Mm.
Um, and if I can't do something like that, then I've got to think of a new idea or something else to do. I have to bear in mind that, just as the Prime Minister has done so far, he could change the levels,
At
the lockdown
any
levels at
moment,
any point. Literally on any day, he just switches it up. And so I've got to have sort of
backup plan.
a plan that understands that.
But the good thing of your birthday is that it's in the summer.
Is it at the beginning of this year in March, people thought, by the time winter comes, everything will be all right and I'll have my birthday off. Here we are, winter, it's worse.
Okay, yes. But, they're hoping for the vaccines to be rolled out to a lot of the vulnerable people by spring.
We'll see if that
Well,
happens.
yeah, have your own opinions on the vaccines,
Yeah,
but that's the plan.
we'll see how that goes. And the exercise one, before the pandemic, I was playing football regularly. I want to go back to doing that, um, and supplement that with a bit of more gym attendance, increase my attendance into the gym,
Mm,
and over the year, hopefully that should work out.
yeah.
You know, that's more about turning up and really applying yourself. How about you?
So saving money for the new year, I have put together a budget. We've got a household budget that we've recently put together, like a fancy Excel with formulas and stuff, which breaks it down by how much money comes in, what our outgoings are, um, our subscriptions, our what else I've got there, bills, mortgage, all that stuff. And then towards the bottom, it has like our savings as well. So that's a way to kind of keep it make myself to kind of save in the new year. I'm not, I mean, I save anyways, I'm not a bad saver, but just make sure I'm consistent with it. And then also to kind of just take my money out of my account. Like as soon as I get paid, just put that money straight into my savings.
Mm,
That kind of works quite well for me. Read a book a month. I've been thinking about this one. I think what I'm going to try to do is dedicate some time where I actually like leave the living room, go up to the bedroom and just read. Or make sure that like if you're playing FIFA or something, I actually sit here and read and not just sit here and just like play games on my phone or
yeah.
respond back to WhatsApp messages or basically just do nothing of value. So really just if you're playing FIFA or whatever it is, I'm either reading or I'm going up to the bedroom to read. So I'm getting in that time. Because I do enjoy reading. I've just been my mind just hasn't been in it this year to really kind of sit down and do it. And figure out how to grow more in my career. I'm going to be speaking to people at work about that. And I'm also going to look online to find a mentor as well, to see whether I can find, I want a black mentor. So whether I can find a black mentor, man or woman, to help me in my career and just bounce some ideas off and give me another perspective on things as well.
And if anybody's got any ideas of how to do that, just let us know.
Please slide into our DMs and let us know. And if anyone wants to be my mentor as well, slide into my DMs and let me know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I plan to think about my career. And also, I think I'm going to spend some time just looking at all different options that are available to me in my career as well and see what
Mm.
makes the most sense there.
I think a lot of our goals and maybe other people's goals out there is just around being more productive with your time.
100%.
If
You,
we're at home and we need to spend good amount of time resting, but sometimes you can spend too much time and not be productive with other time when you're not resting. So just make sure you just be more productive, have a good balance, and that will help me in my goals. You know, gaining a professional qualification, I need to do the training and the learning, and you reading a book instead of playing the game, something like that.
yeah,
You know?
I've realized in lockdown that I can be so unproductive in my time.
Yeah.
So I couldn't like, I think that's just great what you just said. Mic drop. Because, yeah, being productive in your time is, it's how, do you know what, it's how you end up sometimes just being a bit whatless, if you're not kind of like
Mm,
focusing on different stuff and thinking about how you can utilize your time. Don't get me wrong, you do need those dead days as well, but kind of utilizing your time as well.
yeah. And that's why, again, going back, you need to have your goal somewhere where you can see it and review it, because when you do have that time to relax, you actually got your goals like in front of you, like screaming at you, like do something, you
Mm,
know, because you've got it on your phone or you've got it in your room and it says, it looks at you, you look at it, and it says do something.
yeah. What I also just want to say, I don't think we've mentioned this, but just to quickly say that if you don't achieve your goals or you don't do as much as you wanted to do, like that's fine as well. Like that's perfectly okay.
Yeah,
Sometimes the goals are, spill over into the next year, or they're just not something you're able to achieve. So don't beat yourself up if you wasn't able to achieve the goal that you wanted to.
yeah, we definitely did not achieve every goal from last year.
No. Some were down
So,
to pandemic, but others, many, many, many weren't. They just weren't achieved.
mm,
So yeah, that probably wraps up goal planning and this episode. So we'll leave it there.
yeah, I would like to wish everybody a happy new year,
Yes,
and hopefully your goals for next year are great and you do a lot to achieve them in the next year.
definitely.
And yeah, have a great new year.
Have a great new year, whatever you plan to do. And we will catch up with you all in the new year.
Yeah. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
If you have any questions or dilemmas, email us on ordinaryblackprofessionals@gmail.com, or we can be found on Instagram and Twitter at ordinaryblackprofessionals. Also, don't forget to follow us, subscribe, and leave a rating and comment.